Today we're talking about the 9 best canned meats that you can get right now in 2025. Perfect for long-term storage in your prepper pantry and for your survival food supply. We're doing this so that you can be confident you're putting the best survival food possible into your prepper pantry when you're buying canned meat. Buying low-priced canned meats is a common thing to do so that you can put an extra can or two into long-term storage in your prepper pantry. A lot of people figure I'll just get the cheapest canned meat possible, throw a couple of extra cans into the shopping cart, and hey, that's better than nothing. But here's the problem. Those cheaper canned meats often come with shorter shelf life, lower protein quality, and less reliable ingredients. And sometimes they may contain hidden GMO products. We'll talk more about that later in the video. So in this video, I'm going to show you 9 types or categories of canned meat, a variety of options in each category, explain how you can know that you're making the best choice for your canned meat in each of those categories, tell you why the best options are the best option in that category, highlight the best options for your long-term health, the best options for protein, the best options for having the most various recipes, best and easiest options to use in no-cook foods or meals, which you're going to need for those coming times of chaos and civil unrest. We will rank the best options 1 through 9 and find the best canned meat option available in 2025. And as a bonus at the end of the video, I'll show you 1 canned meat that you might want to add to your supply, not for calories or protein, but as a supplement for vitamins and minerals. That is, if you can stomach it. Hello, my name is Les, and I want to welcome you to the Chef Prepper channel, where we make videos that are worth your time. After studying, researching, and testing lots of different types of canned meats, I figured out how to choose the best option when it comes to any particular category of canned meat. Now I want to share that information with you, so you can make the best decisions possible for your family's food security. Once you've got your canned meats, and you put them on your shelf in your prepper pantry for long-term storage, you want to make sure that they last as long as possible, for decades if needed. So I put together this free downloadable PDF. It's a guide to get the longest possible storage out of your canned foods, which will include canned meats. It's packed with tips for properly storing canned foods. We'll give you the 10 best practices to follow to ensure that they last for decades. And it includes a 1-page printable checklist that you can keep on hand right where you store your canned foods to make sure you followed all the best practices. I have a link to that guide down in the description box. I'll also pin a link in the comments section. Now let's look at those 9 types or categories of canned meat. The first kind of canned meat that we're going to look at is corned beef. There's a multitude of corned beef brands available out there, but they all have basically the same set of ingredients. Cooked beef, salt, sugar, and sodium nitrite. Taste and texture varies from brand to brand. Things that influence the taste and texture include the amount of salt, the amount of sugar, the amount of fat, the particular cut of beef that's used. Some brands cook the corned beef slower than others, and how fine the meat is ground up before it becomes corned beef also influences taste and texture. So how do you choose the best option when it comes to corned beef? Choosing the best option depends greatly on the country of origin. Most corned beef in the United States comes from Uruguay or Brazil, and a very small part of it comes from the United States. Uruguay and Brazil. What difference does that make? In Uruguay, the beef is raised almost 100% grass-fed or pasture-fed. No hormones, no antibiotics unless the cow is actually sick. The regulatory structure is much better in Uruguay than Brazil, and Uruguay requires traceability for all of their beef. The best choice in corned beef is going to come down to 2 things. Your preferred taste, probably more importantly, the country of origin. Uruguay, again, nearly 100% pasture-fed, pasture-raised beef. You're going to find the country of origin on the top if it's Brazil or Uruguay. One last thing to be aware of when it comes to corned beef. Here's 2 cans of corned beef that came from Kroger. One batch was sourced from Brazil, another from Uruguay. So even the same brands will sometimes use meat from Brazil or from Uruguay. So be sure you check the labels. So we're going to put the corned beef from Kroger from Uruguay into the 9 best options from which we're going to eventually choose the best canned meat available in 2025. Kroger brand is just representative of corned beef from Uruguay. The second type of canned meat we're going to look at is salmon. There are 4 primary options: wild-caught pink salmon, wild-caught red salmon, wild-caught pink salmon, which has the skin and bones removed, therefore it takes out most of the fat content and it becomes just primarily a protein source. And there is farm raised. Take note, these cans are just representative of salmon in general. On the screen is a chart that shows the nutritional content of the pink versus red salmon. So how do you choose the best option when it comes to canned salmon? The red salmon has a better nutrition profile. However, it also has a higher price profile. So overall, the best choice when it comes to canned salmon, if you're getting it solely for the protein, it's going to be the skinless and boneless. But overall, for nutrition, it's going to be the red salmon. The red salmon has more protein. The protein in the red salmon is more bioavailable, and it also has a little bit more of the omega-3 fatty acids. For me, personally, I like the red salmon better, but I primarily stock the pink salmon due to the price difference, and the pink salmon is almost as good nutritionally as the red salmon. When I say the pink salmon isn't as nutritionally good as the red salmon, pink salmon is still going to be one of the very, very best canned meats available. The best choice in canned salmon is the red salmon, so it goes into our lineup for choosing the best canned meat available in 2025. The third category of canned meat that we're going to look at is beef, and we're including roast beef. The ingredients in beef and roast beef vary, going from beef and salt only, with some of the roast beef having multiple ingredients including modified food starch, some of them have colorings, and so on. So how do you choose the best option when it comes to canned beef? First is whether or not you want just beef that you can put in various recipes, or if you want pre-made roast beef. But after that, the best choice is going to be the one that has the cleanest list of ingredients, which is going to be beef and salt. So the best choice in canned beef, it's going to be Keystone. And this time it is a particular brand. There are several reasons why. The source of meat is more traceable. Generally speaking, they use better, more consistent cuts of beef. Sea salt is slightly more nutritional than just salt. If you'd like a lot more detail on multiple brands of roast beef, I have this video, which we look at them, weigh the contents without the gravy or the broth, do taste testing. And if you have an interest, if you like and have an interest in putting roast beef in your prepper pantry, you will really like watching that video. So from the beef category, the Keystone beef is going to go into our 9 best options. After reviewing 3 categories of canned meat, here are our 3 best options so far. Our next category of canned meat is chicken. The ingredients in canned chicken varies from chicken and salt, chicken breast meat, water, and salt. Some have starches and various other things added into it as well. Various brands also use various cuts of meat. You can have simply 100% breast meat, like this one. You can have white meat, which includes breast meat and rib meat. And also there is white and dark meat mixed. The breast meat only versions have the highest amount of protein, and the quality of the meat is a little higher than the breast and rib meat combined. The white and dark meat combination has more vitamins, nutrients, and minerals. So you have your pick: breast meat, breast and rib, white and dark. The other big difference in canned chicken is conventionally raised or organic. So how do you choose the best option in canned chicken? First, look for the cleanest list of ingredients, which is going to be chicken and salt or chicken, water, and salt. The end result of both of those seems to be about the same from my experience. Organic is going to be a higher quality product than the conventionally raised. However, when it comes to the price, organic is much, much more expensive than the conventionally raised. Add into that the organic version is not pasture raised. The chickens are just fed organic things that chickens normally wouldn't eat if they had a choice. If you like more detail on canned chicken, choosing the very best one, including taste testing, I have a video that goes into great detail on that. And from my experience of eating canned chicken and doing the testing in that video, when it comes to canned chicken, there's one brand that stands out far above all the other competitors in canned chicken, and that is Members Mark from Sam's Club. If you want to see how I came to that conclusion, then watch this video. It is very eye-opening. So the best option in canned chicken is brand specific, Members Mark from Sam's Club. The next type of canned meat we're going to look at is canned tuna. There's 3 primary types of tuna: chunk light, which is skipjack tuna usually, white or albacore tuna, and yellowfin tuna. Chunk light has the least amount of mercury, albacore has the next highest amount of mercury, and yellowfin typically has the most. It will come packaged in water, oil, which is usually vegetable oil, usually soybean oil, also in olive oil, and in extra virgin olive oil. There's a lot of different ingredient options. This one is tuna and sea salt. This one, which is packed in olive oil, is tuna, olive oil, and salt. Some that are packed in water will have tuna, water, and usually salt. One ingredient list to be aware of and look out for are ones like this one, which include vegetable broths added into the tuna. So how do you choose the best option when it comes to canned tuna? Mercury content, you want the lowest. The ingredient list, you want the cleanest, with the possible exception of olive oil. Any particular type of tuna packed in water or packed in olive oil or extra virgin olive oil, the tuna would have the same nutritional profile. However, the olive oil adds some nutrition into the can of tuna, but it also makes some of the things in the tuna more bioavailable for you to use. Therefore, I prefer tuna in extra virgin olive oil. That is a slightly better option than just olive oil, even though they're heat processed, which diminishes some of the nutritional value from extra virgin olive oil, but extra virgin olive oil is processed much differently than just regular olive oil. So it's a cleaner, healthier product from the get-go. The biggest choice you're probably going to make when it comes to your canned tuna is, are you going to use the tuna in a recipe that kind of covers up the taste of the tuna, or are you going to get the tuna to have tuna? If you're getting it to put in recipes, best option for you is probably going to be chunk light tuna packed in water. Doesn't taste very good, but you're going to cover up the taste. If you want the tuna to eat, it's going to be chunk light packed in extra virgin olive oil. That's the lowest mercury content and the highest nutritional value. For those of you who are putting a lot of canned tuna into your prepper pantry, I have a couple videos that you might be interested in, including taste tests in this video. Check those videos out if tuna is your thing. Our overall choice for canned tuna, as of now, is brand specific. It's StarKist solid light tuna in extra virgin olive oil. That's because it's chunk light, low mercury, extra virgin olive oil, the best in nutrition. The next category of canned meat that we're going to look at is turkey. There's not nearly as many options as far as brands go when it comes to canned turkey, but there are several. And the ingredient list on turkey goes from turkey and sea salt, and some canned turkey has multiple ingredients, just like the canned chicken does. None of them that I have or found said turkey breast meat, so it would appear it's like canned chicken that says white meat. It includes breast meat and rib meat. So how do you choose the best canned turkey? Simply the cleanest ingredient list. And when it comes to the canned turkey options, by far, the best option is Keystone. The seventh type of canned meat that we're going to look at is sardines. If you've ever tried sardines and you had a bad experience, you didn't like how they tasted, there's a reason that might have happened. Sardines are not a specific type of fish. Sardines can be any number of fish. They just have to meet certain criteria. Got to be small fish, oily fish. Therefore, there's several species of fish called sardines. So if you had a bad experience with one brand, maybe you could try a different brand. They are very good for you. They're very nutritious, and they store a very long time. When it comes to options in sardines, there's numerous brands out there. They also come packed skinless and boneless, or the whole fish after it's been processed, of course. They also come packed in water, soybean oil, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and sometimes they have flavorings added. So how do you choose the best option in sardines? Number one, it's got to be a brand that you like. Beyond that, it would be the cleanest list of ingredients, which is going to be sardines and water. However, if the sardines are packed in olive oil, it's going to make the overall can of fish more nutritious and more bioavailable. Our choice for best option in sardines, the whole fish packed in olive oil. And for those of you who simply can't eat them with the bones and skin, the best option is going to be skinless and boneless sardines packed in olive oil. The next category of meat that we're going to look at is going to be the highly processed meat. So I'll go ahead and say up front, we're going to pick the best option from these, but that best option in processed meats is not going to be the very best option in canned meat for 2025. So when it comes to the heavily processed canned meats, two basic categories. This type, which uses mechanically separated meat, and then you got the spam types that do not use mechanically separated meats. The mechanically separated meats are basically really nasty looking things when they're being processed, and they make a paste rather than a piece of meat. Nevertheless, a lot of us like these kinds of meats, including yours truly. So how do you choose the best option when it comes to this type of meat? Well, if you're looking for the highest quality and perhaps low quality meats, the non-mechanically separated meat is going to be much higher quality because it uses real meat rather than meat like paste. However, things like the veiny sausage, they're very, very good to have on hand when the time comes that you need to have foods available that require no cooking or heating. Veiny sausage and crackers can make a great meal when your focus is on taking care of your family, defending your home, and you don't have time to cook the other types of foods. So the overall pick in the highly processed meats is going to be Spam because it uses real meat rather than meat-like paste. The last category of canned meats that we're going to look at is kind of an all-inclusive category, and that's the rest of the tinned fish, which includes things like anchovies, trout, herring, and some forms of mackerel. Almost all canned trout is going to be farm-raised. However, farm-raised trout is far superior nutritionally to every other kind of traditionally farm-raised animals, including chicken, turkey, and beef. So when it comes to this category of canned meats, how do you pick the best option? Since they are different types of fish primarily, the best option is going to be the one with the highest nutritional profile, including amount of protein, the bioavailability of protein, having the largest amount of omega fatty acids, and don't have extra ingredients. Anchovies are very nutritious, but have a lot of sodium. Trout is farm raised, still very, very healthy, but the rest of these are wild caught. The mackerel typically in tins is boneless and skinless, and that makes the overall best choice in the other tinned fish, the Kipper Snacks with the cleanest list of ingredients. And it is brand specific, and it is the Polar brand. If you buy your canned meats simply for protein content and that's it, the best options for protein are going to be chicken, salmon, and tuna. Those have the highest quality of protein for your body to use. When it comes to salmon, if you're looking just for protein, you're going to want the skinless and boneless version, which is primarily reduced down to just the protein content. They're all three very good as far as quality and available protein. That's not to say that the other canned meats are not good sources of protein. They are. These are just the best ones. If your focus in canned meats is health, the healthiest canned meat option available is going to be red salmon. It stands out above all the other options. The most versatile of the canned meats when it comes to using them and making recipes, especially from your long-term storage foods, it's going to be canned chicken. The potential for hidden GMO products to be in your canned meats. When you see modified food starch listed in the ingredient list, unless it says it's non-GMO or organic, almost 100% of the time it's going to be made from cornstarch from genetically modified corn. And it does not have to be listed on the labels. Now, there is the argument out there that by the time that all the processing gets done to the corn and it becomes modified food starch, all of the genetically modified material has been removed. I don't know if it is or not, but what I do know is that almost all modified food starch, unless it says specifically it's non-GMO or organic, is made from genetically modified corn. I'm telling you guys about this because in various videos that I've made, I've had a lot of comments about some of the items that's been in some of the videos. Sometimes they've had genetically modified ingredients in them. I don't want genetically modified ingredients in my food, but I do have some foods that have that in it. Just making you aware so that you can make your decision. The bonus canned meat that I told you about earlier, the one that you might use as a nutritional supplement in addition to just being a canned meat, if you can stomach it, is this. It's cod liver packed in its own oil. This is the only canned meat that rivals the red sockeye salmon as being the most healthy and having the highest levels of nutrition. Number 9 is going to be Spam. The reason it's 9th on the list is it's highly processed, a lot of sodium, and the meat used in it is not as high quality as some of the other canned options. Number 8 is going to be the Polar Kipper Snacks or herring. It's number 8 because a lot of people don't find it tasty or palatable. Number 7 on the list is corned beef from Uruguay. It is highly processed. The source of the beef in corned beef from Uruguay is almost always going to be pasture-raised beef, the healthiest type of beef that you can get. Number 6 on the list is Keystone Turkey. It made the list because it has very clean ingredients. Turkey is a very popular meat, but not nearly as popular as chicken and beef and some of the others. Very versatile for recipes. Number 5 on the list is whole sardines packed in olive oil. One of the most nutritionally dense canned meats available. Being in olive oil rather than water makes it nutritionally superior to those that is only in water. One of the more popular eat right out of the can types of canned meat. Number 4 on the list, Keystone beef. A lot of people like beef. That's their favorite type of meat. Keystone has the cleanest list of ingredients that I have found. Very versatile in recipes. Number 3 on the list, Starkist solid light tuna packed in extra virgin olive oil. Very, very high quality protein, very bioavailable. The skipjack or the light tuna, the least amount of mercury of all the tunas. The extra virgin olive oil, the best type of olive oil, all packaged together. It's a very, very good option for your canned meats. And packaged in olive oil greatly increases the taste and palatability of the tuna. So this is great to have right out of the can, especially in the times when you might need those no-cook foods or meals. Number 2 on the list of best options is red salmon. It's the best canned meat available when it comes to health and nutrition. Also has probably the most bioavailable protein of any of the canned meats, in addition to all the other nutrients that it has. A very, very good source of the healthy fats, the omega-3s. You won't go wrong if you put wild-caught red salmon into your prepper pantry. Pink salmon is very close to the red salmon and would actually be very high on the list of the top 9. That brings us to the very best option in canned meat that is readily available in the year 2025, and that is canned chicken from Sam's Club. It has a very clean ingredient list: chicken, water, and salt. The taste is very good, which is important in your canned chicken, especially if you're going to eat it directly out of the can. It's the best canned meat option available. So what do you guys think about that list? What would you add to the list that I left off? What would you take out of the list that I included? And what is your number 1 pick for the best option in canned meat? If you got any value from this video and you'd like to help our channel out, then I'd like to ask you to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, share the video with your family, friends, and on your social media accounts. And if you're feeling really generous, I do like coffee, you can buy me a cup of coffee. You'll find the link to my Buy Me a Coffee account down in the description box.